bring you. Here, let's
Closer.
Scooting this way, yeah.
All right. So 12. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, y'all know what that is?
A building.
That's our building, guys. We got the we just got the acceptance from the landlord here, and looks like we're gonna be signing the lease here soon. I'm not sure what day. We didn't send them. We just found out
So,
today,
and I guess
actually.
we should clarify. By we mean not Just Cause.
Oh yeah.
Chinoook Center, which
The Chinoook Center. Yeah.
we're both members of. We're both on the board of. So. I don't think we've talked about Chinoook Center on the show.
Yeah, I don't think we have really, man. So yeah, so for everybody that's on the interlinking with the social medias or whatnot, they've heard us talking about Chinoook a lot, and a lot of things that Chinoook Center is doing, and that we're doing with Chinoook Center. And one of the main things is we was trying to get this here office space so that we can just have a space for all the activists, for all of you guys that we did this show for, to have a place to be at, and where we have resource and internet connection and interpersonal connection, and we can kind of
interpersonal is the important part.
The big part
too,
of it. Yeah, and so we got it, man, and more to follow with how it's gonna happen, and all of the dates and all of that stuff. So yeah, we're definitely gonna
But to make it successful, we're gonna need your help. But it's gonna be great. I mean, it's a big open space. We're gonna have event space there, so if you need to have any kind of event, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not stadium shows or anything like this, but just about.
Yeah, almost that. Yeah,
exactly. And it's got meeting space, kitchen space. So if you need to come here and prep community meals or anything like this, all going to be there. Hopefully this will really add to the activist community here in Colorado Springs, just like Sean and I have done for Just Cause.
Right, indeed. Yeah, just kind of flip it into something else that looks like you and looks like your organization. And
there goes our fist.
God,
I'll go grab it.
We gotta get that. So our fit, man, we're gonna put it's windy as hell out here, man. Katie Orr, it looks like it's loose up there, man. Katie Orr, a well-known artist from Manitou Springs, made this for another organization that we're building with right now. And yeah, so she did this thing for them. She has where she can't get out, into crowds and things like this with with the virus and things happening. So this is the way that she's contributing to the fight, man. And we were just here building with some of the other members, and it was in her car, so we put it in the back.
Yeah. And hopefully, we were just talking about another person that we know that's starting. I don't know if she wants to be talked about on here, so I won't mention her name, but she's doing puppet builds and things for the and she's doing a puppet build that's going to be a fundraiser for Chinoook Center, I believe. But she talked about wanting to do more puppet builds. Puppets are a great part of any protest. If you go to any big cities, usually you'll see
They got 'em,
big protest puppets. And actually in Colorado Springs we used to have more puppets, like during the anti-war movement. So I think that's great. This space will be a great space to build puppets, build big banners. Like that's one thing that's really frustrating is nowhere in my house is big enough to do a big banner.
We got a big ass space right here in our
we'll have a big space,
ass building,
exactly.
man. So where this is, we're on Circle and Airport. We're right at the corner of Circle and Airport in K-Land. We're right across from the Veteran Social nightclub and
The Dab Lounge.
The Dab Lounge back here, yeah. So yeah, it's a whole
So
bunch of
that
hood
will
shit
meet
going
all
on
your
there.
needs being over here,
Right,
basically.
exactly. Yeah, we used anyway. Yeah, man.
And Angie's Latin food over there
And
too.
you can go eat afterwards. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of shit going on, man. It's right here in the hood, man. So hopefully we'll be able to for real be here with y'all, and y'all be able to be here with us, and we'll build and get it going, man.
You guys could come down and watch us record even.
Hell yeah, come be a part of the show like Stephen A and them, like
Our live studio
like
audience.
boo, yeah.
Don't boo at us, please.
Yeah, the little ESPN shows. I want to do that. That'll be fun, man. So what we talking about today, John?
So I guess we wanted to talk. I mean, you guys have probably been following this. Hopefully, you guys have all been following this. Is like in Portland, the feds were called in recently. You guys probably all know this.
Yeah.
And the feds have just been crazy up there. Pulling people into unmarked vans and just with generic police badges on that you could buy at any police uniform warehouse or whatever.
Like Halloween store.
Yeah, exactly. but it hasn't been unique to Portland. So just the level of repression of protests seems to have stepped up everywhere, and especially here in Colorado Springs. I mean, we haven't had the feds called into Colorado Springs, not that we know of, at least. I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
who knows, man? They might already be here. Like,
yeah, exactly. But we have seen just the level of repression has really spiked up in Colorado Springs. They've decided to take like a very aggressive approach towards protests again in Colorado Springs. So we wanted to talk about that, but we also wanted to talk about what happened up in Teller County if people haven't been following that. And then, of course, since there's been so much repression and there's been an increase in counter-protest aggressiveness, about protest safety. So we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shit going on since our last show.
It's been a lot, man, and it's been a lot going on with Chinoook Center, and so it's like, when is the last time we recorded, man? Damn, we need to do something, man. You know what I'm saying? It is our goal to stay consistent, but it feels like it's being fake if we're like, oh, we got to do a show every Monday. We got to do a show. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we're in the work, man. So once it gets to that point where we're like doing shit, who knows like how this is gonna play out? We might just have to record a show like on live or something like that here and there, and just to kind of keep everybody updated with what's happening and what we think might be important or whatnot. So the protest repression, man.
Well, and starting in Teller County, like this wasn't necessarily related to the police, but it kind of was, right?
Yeah, it was, man. We talked about how the police laid out where the protest was going to go. Like he talked about the route for the protest, where they were going to start, where they were going to end, and lo and behold, his damn cronies popped out on him. And,
so if people aren't familiar, this is about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
About a week and a half, almost.
Maybe a week and a half ago. Probably the day after we filmed our show, maybe.
Maybe.
So there was a protest against ICE detention up in Teller County because they just transferred a bunch of ICE detainees up into Teller County because Teller County still works with ICE, Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. So they were having a protest up there to get them moved back to actually to have them released because a lot of these people are in there for no goddamn reason.
Right.
And so, the disturbing thing is the organizing had been on the down low, but somehow they got a hold of the information, and the Teller County Sheriff, like Sean said, put the information out in like a social media post. Here's these protests are coming to Teller County. It was like something out of like 1960s Mississippi. In fact, we just watched Mississippi Burning last night.
Oh, did y'all? Oh my God.
It's it wasn't that extreme, but it felt a bit like that, where the cops were coordinating with the like you said, their cronies.
Like, get them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then lo and behold, guess what happened? The motherfuckers showed up, man. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And they put hands on people that belong to our neighborhood.
The counter protesters basically came, blocked them in up there, and then got in a shouting. You guys all have been to protests. Got in a shouting match, and one of them came at our folks, just came. Luckily, our folks knew how to handle him.
Yeah, he came down there and got the motherfucking bees, bro. It was. I mean, if you haven't seen the video, man,
we'll put it up here. Actually,
them youngsters got hands, and I can't wait to go throw them. I'm gonna take my vote because we haven't gone back yet. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not because of me. Goddamn, I would have came to go see y'all motherfuckers, and I might anyway. I want to go, man. So if anybody want to go with me, maybe I'll just go.
Show them Teller County rednecks.
Man. It's just and I'm serious, man. It's I feel like there's so many things that I would go off on, right? Like right here down the street, somebody could do something to me, and I would go off. You know what I'm saying? But when we see somebody do something like that, it doesn't trigger that for us for whatever reason. It does for me. It makes me want to react. So, I just hope that some people see that shit like, man, I could go and protect that dude. I could go and do something about it and let them know that shit's not okay. And there's somebody that will tell you that it's not okay and do something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people that will do that shit. We just need to figure that shit out.
If I'm remembering all the way back to episode 1, a dog barked at you once, and you even were ready to.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, man. You just got to. It's like shit, man. You can't just let people do whatever they want to you because then guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna think it's okay. Again. They're gonna do it again, right? And so now when we talk about this oppression, building and multiplying, we could move on to a week later. They were downtown protesting for Breonna Taylor because, of course, they still haven't arrested her murderers yet. And here come the police, man. It was only maybe 15, 20 people on the sidewalk, too. And the cops showed up with their helmets and their damn big ass riot thing on with that could barely fit over some of their bellies and shit. And they were, stay on the sidewalk and do this and do that. And they incited the people to address them. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course we're not. Like, fuck you, I'm gonna get in your face if you come over there. You know what I'm saying? And I understand them doing that, man. So anyway, and they taunted them.
The police too showed up like completely in way too much force. If you've been to the protests over the last month and a half or 2 months, like, people have been marching in the streets day after day after day, but for some reason that day they decided, they're gonna have a wall of cop cars and people weren't gonna be able to march down the street.
Both directions too on Nevada. So they got the median in Nevada. So one way goes. They both lanes was blocked off. And it was for what, bro?
Yep.
So it's plain and simple. It's very clear that somebody inside of this organizing community is organizing with the police. Is what's happening. So there's no way that for them to had I don't know, to have that forethought to say, oh, this is the one that we're gonna go, and then they targeted the arrest that they made. The people that they did, I'm definitely not gonna say their names or whatnot, but they were definitely targeted. You know what I'm saying? And
they definitely
it's proof of that.
Well, so I think basically what's happened is after the I-25 protests, if you weren't following a couple of weeks ago, people went out onto I-25. And they didn't arrest anybody at I-25, but then in the weeks following that, the days and weeks following that, actually even in the hours following that, now that I'm remembering, basically the police just started targeting and harassing people one by one. They followed them up to Garden of the Gods and they ticketed 2 people, I think, that night. And then over the next couple weeks, they were just showing up at people's homes. Like 7 cop cars showed up at one person's home. They surrounded their house with cop cars to come give them a citation for obstructing traffic. I don't know about you, but like, that's basically, like if you
like they got a murder warrant. You got a murder warrant and they come to your house. That's the jump out. That's what they did, man. And they only did that to the people anyway. Honestly, there really wasn't much like separation in like women or whites or black, like whatever it was like kind of a mixed bag on who got charged or whatnot. It seemed like their level of activity in the community too was targeted.
I think they're clearly just being like, these people are the people who they see as troublemakers, right? They're agitators or leaders or whatever. Right. I mean, that's what they did at the Trump protest too. They decided these people are agitators or leaders,
and they attacked them,
and they went after them.
They did that in Pueblo too when they attacked the guy, and they said he cut the line, and he didn't cut the line, but they find the person that they want to get, and then they go, or they come there looking to see, is any of these people here? No. Okay, who's next? All right, let's get that guy, and we're just waiting until we got a chance to get him. And it's literally just like that, man. Like, they'll walk to you and snatch your ass up and try to get you.
That's exactly what they do, like they're doing in Portland, the feds or whatever, and all across the country. Like, they've been like targeting activists and coming after them. Here they were calling people's phones. People were getting suspicious texts, like from numbers they didn't know. Sergeants from CSPD were calling and be like, is this so-and-so's number? Just all kinds of crazy tactics for a basic citation. A citation's the equivalent of a traffic ticket.
Like, and maybe even less than that. Like blocking the sidewalk or blocking the crosswalk. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the charges that they got. So,
or like one time I was riding the wrong way down an alley on my bicycle, and a cop gave me a ticket for that. I'm like, that seems like about the equivalent sort of like level of crime. And so but the police, exactly. The police have been like doing these really repressive tactics, and it's clearly that they're trying to threaten and intimidate them because they were embarrassed after the I-25 protests. I mean, we saw the mayor and Chief Niski release those statements, and all these people were like, "What? Why aren't you going after them? You need to arrest them." And ever since then, they're like, they felt really embarrassed by that, and so now they gotta like show how tough they are or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but they're not gonna win that battle, man. The thing is, like, well, they can win the battle, and they have been winning it. That's the truth about it, because our city is very dormant when it comes to fighting back and pushing back at these people. They have gotten away with doing whatever they want, man. Like, just literally not even having any pushback on things that they try to pass through or whatnot. You know, the budget never got challenged. You know what I mean? This budget being challenged, this last one, the mayor was like, "What are y'all? You know what I'm saying? This is
not allowed to do this.
This is out of bounds." You know what I mean? Like he was beside himself. So anyway, they're not thinking that we got it in us to get this stuff done. And I think as soon as they start realizing like, oh man, yes they are, and then they realize that people are putting money, foundations are putting money into this to embolden it and strengthen it, then we're gonna have to see go back to the basic Billy Club and the dog come out.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
what they're going to start because they're basically heading down that path right now, right? They're like, okay, what do we do now? Like, and they're going to start resorting to
so
physical
violence. And this ties into things that we've talked about. And John, you brought this up about, when folks are protesting and they're acting, we can't. The fist looked like he was about to go again. We can't criticize their action and criticize what they're doing and what we thought they did or should have done or whatever. We can't do that shit, man, because it's going to require so much pressure from different angles to get this thing to happen the right way, man. We're not going to be able to pick and choose. I forgot that we were using that to pick and choose what we're doing, man. You want to slide back under the awning here? Yeah. All right, man. It's raining, man. We'll stop right here. Okay. So yeah, we had to move. It's still kind of windy, man. We might kind of just
have to cut this one.
Yeah, kind of get through it, man. But so when we talk about how they're escalating this thing, right? And they're turning it up and doing it differently, and I think that they're just going to get to a point where they're just gonna be all out violent, you know what I mean? And like, and we're gonna have to be ready for that. So when I was talking about criticizing people's methods and
different
things that they
tactics,
do to protest and the pressure that it's gonna take to really get this thing to happen the way that we need it to happen, like we can't even really imagine. We can't imagine the event that it's going to take for this to occur. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in the system that's built into it to make it not do what it's doing, to make it do something other than what it's doing right now. So in order to break this, to fix it, you got to break it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's what you got to do. And they're demonstrating this all over the country. And they're right up the street from us. It's like, oh, that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to the courthouse and they're saying that, hey, these motherfuckers are gonna stop with these oppressive policies and protecting the cops. And of course, there's reasons to attack the courthouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
If they're talking about charges for this guy, maybe they did go to the DA's office, but maybe like a more like should have went to the DA's office if you want the charges done. But who gives? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So we can nitpick at why they did that, but dude, they did it, and now everybody around them is thinking. And I guarantee you, the city of Colorado Springs better think about that shit, because the people here will get down, man. And like, it's really just gonna take like, how do we do it, and do we have the functionality to get it done? You know what I'm saying? And we do, man.
I definitely think we do. I mean, I've been thinking about this quote as you've been talking, that Malcolm X quote that's like, we're not outnumbered, we're out organized, which I think is exactly it. Like, once we are really like solidly organized, and I have to say, like, the Colorado Springs activist community right now is like stepping up so much and like becoming more and more organized, and there's more and more people who know what they're doing. They're becoming like becoming protest hardened in a way, and starting to think more creatively about those tactics that they need to use. And you know what? I think that there's been more and more people realizing that we do need a diversity of tactics. Here's the thing, though. I might call people out on their stupid tactics because if they're like talking to the cops, like that's a tactic I don't agree with.
Man, I don't understand that shit.
Like making deals with cops in the background, that's a dumb tactic. So that I can go and get
my protest on, like, what the fuck is you doing, bro? Man, that shit's gonna get your ass whooped. That's just really what's gonna happen. They're like, like people, like try to be sensitive around it, but really that's all what's gonna happen. You're gonna have a physical altercation with people, and that's that's not
gonna be pretty. Plus, they just like to divide us. That I mean, they like to. The police and the mayor, I mean, that's what they did. They've been saying, like, this group is the bad group and this group's the good group, because those, the bad group has these bad tactics. Like, like when Southers got on the radio and said Martin Luther King never broke the law.
He never broke the law.
Like, give me a fucking break.
They hated Martin Luther King, man. Anyway, so here's the thing, man. Yeah, so just the stupidest shit I've ever heard, man. And then the thing is, like, dude, like the mayor is telling you that you're doing that. These tactics these are the right tactics, and these people are doing the wrong. Like,
don't listen to people in power, right?
Like,
about what are right and wrong.
What the hell
tactics.
are you talking about? Like, what part of the game is it to listen to these police telling you that you're doing right and this is what you're supposed to be doing? I don't know, man.
Because if they're telling you how to protest, then that's basically saying, here's how you protest to not get things done.
Right.
Because they don't want to change their policies and practices and things like
and
this.
they're not going to. They're not going to
pushed.
unless all their shit gets burnt up and they don't have the insurance money to pay for it.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen. Like, there's not like some magical, oh, I'm scared shitless now. No, the money will fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? So you go in there and you fuck their shit up, and so they can't pay for it no more.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the motherfuckers won't insure them anymore, and then they got to change it.
Right.
And the only reason they got fucked up was because the people got tired of your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Or like,
really simple.
think of Tahrir Square in Egypt a few years back. Like, they just occupied the center of the city for months on end, and at some point that was they couldn't do it anymore. Or Ukraine, because the city could no longer function because protesters were just jamming up the city.
Right.
Well, and they had a general strike too, which
Right.
fucks with their money.
Exactly, yeah, man, which we can't, I mean, I don't know why we can't get that figured out, but hopefully, I don't know, man, like, maybe this is what it
More
takes to show that
organization.
we can get it, like, we're out-organized, man, and
Yep.
I don't know, as soon as we get the boycotts thing down, boy, we won't have to protest.
I mean, think about the bus boycott. I mean, all they had to do was not ride the bus.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
that was like, that cost
Like,
the bus company so much money that they're like,
Man, like,
we can't handle this anymore.
Right,
you know?
and then it was a company, an individual company that put the pressure on the government, on the city government or whatever it was. And then, of course, it went all the way. But anyway, it was a business that did that, man. That's why I'm telling these people, man, fuck these businesses that don't have nothing to say, that are like, oh, I don't want to affect my bottom line. Well, you're affecting your bottom line by not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not okay. So anyway, that's what this here Chinoook Center is going to make sure that we get that together, because these businesses that are making money off of the people that are getting oppressed and doing all of this shit, like they have a responsibility to speak
If
for
you're
these
in
people,
the community,
man.
you need to be fucking dealing with the community
Dealing
issues.
with the community, yeah, man.
Yep,
like, you
totally.
don't get to just come over here and sell your burritos and shit and leave. Dude, you don't get to do that shit,
Taco
man.
Star?
Yeah, you don't get to do that shit, man. It's not gonna happen like that, man. It's like you're gonna put something into this shit, or like your shit's gonna it's gonna go.
Yep,
it's gonna
yep.
go, man. That's it. That's all we're gonna talk about.
But this brings us to, since there's been so much police repression lately, protest safety and security, because I don't know if you guys saw, but just over the weekend down in Austin, a lot of more people have been carrying guns at protests, which I for a long time was like, oh, maybe if we carried guns at protests, it would be safer.
Yeah.
And I guess it's up for debate because you want to be doing it correctly, and we've talked about that too, like having armed folks that,
right.
and,
Like,
and
we've
we have
been-
had armed folks.
They
at
have been there, yeah.
protests.
But we talked about like really organizing.
Yeah, but he was a vet, got murdered over the weekend in Austin because some car tried running through the protest down in Austin, of course, because that's just become the norm now, which is really something that's kind of disturbing, that it's just normal for people like, I'm going to drive through a protest and try and murder somebody. So he went over there and he had his AK with him, and the dude just rolled down his window and shot 8 times out into the crowd and killed this guy. But in Aurora, over this weekend as well, that Jeep drove through he was going fast too.
Yeah.
Drove down the freeway, through the protest, and I don't think he hit anybody.
I didn't see that he hit
But
anybody.
so I guess what happened is one of the protesters shot at this Jeep and shot out his tire, but it sounds like maybe they ended up like hitting another protester in the process, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the reports that I
what I heard too, man. So I heard it. I've heard that 2 people died. I haven't really gotten the chance. I've been at work all day, so I haven't had a chance to follow up to see. But I've heard that 2 people died, and that it was from gunfire in
Aurora.
Yeah.
No, one person just got shot. They're not dead though, and another person got grazed.
So nobody died.
Nobody
in Aurora.
died in Aurora, but 2 people did end up, like one with a graze wound. And one got shot.
Yeah. So I'm off. So I
But
thought
still,
that he
it
killed
sucks to
somebody.
get shot.
Fuck yeah, man. And it's like, so when so obviously I don't know the facts, right? But I saw all of the things that people was sharing on social media last night. But like, why the fuck would you shoot your gun and there's people across the street? Like, what,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the
Not wise,
exact
guys.
shit that we're talking about. Like, that Van Lent did that shit when he killed Devon.
Essentially, yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm
Shot
saying?
him to a
Like,
crowded
it
park.
makes no sense. So, like, now I'm at a protest and I got to worry about some dumbass that reacts under pressure the wrong way.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know, fam. Like, let me tell you, man. That dude would not have been okay if I would have been at that protest. Like, he would have been in danger, man. Because I would have had.
Been like,
It
why
didn't
are you-
make. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So now, you know, it's like, oh, there's gonna be some sort of policy or I don't know ordinance set that there can't be firearms at
I mean,
protests.
that's interesting. We don't know. But so yes to protest safety for sure.
Yeah, you got to set
But
it
you
up,
gotta
bro.
be.
You got to have it
understand
there,
what you're
and
doing.
it's like, you know. So now you got we got to think about this shit, right? So is it smart to right, like all of the guns? I don't know what to do. I don't know. Like definitely, if you're marching on the whole side, you know, on the street, like maybe you want to all be on one side of the street just in case you got to shoot. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like maybe there's things that you got to think about, or like putting cars in the way so that the motherfucker can't
Yeah,
get
which is
through to
what we
like,
did
yeah,
on
you
our,
know what I'm saying?
funeral
Like, it's like,
procession.
yeah, like if we know that we're gonna block the street, I'm not gonna let cars get through there any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna put our cars in the way. You know what I mean, or whatever we got to do.
And
So,
shout
like,
out to the guy who actually did
Who
put
did
his
do that.
car in the way in Aurora to try and stop it.
Stop him, yeah. And I guess the people, I put a couple bucks in there to fix his truck, and I guess he got the bread to fix his truck.
He's
you
from
know,
Colorado Springs too, so
yeah,
shout
that's
out
what's
to
up,
Colorado
man.
Springs.
Come holler at the Chinoook Center, man. We need you, man.
I think he's from Colorado. I'm pretty sure
Okay,
he is.
if you're not, still come
If not,
holler
yeah.
at us. But,
Tell us, somebody tell us if he's from Colorado Springs or
Yeah.
not. I'm under the impression that he was.
Yeah, that's dope. I saw Jenna share. I think it seemed like she knew him or something. But anyway, man, yeah, that was dope. The question is like, what do you do with your shit? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do? What do you do with your action? And you have to think about that shit, man. You have to think about the safety of people and what they're going through and not going through. And that's to include when it's hot. You gotta have water out there and first aid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we was Stephanie Rose. She was out when she was talking to what was it? The very first city council meeting for the oversight stuff when we were you know, the peoples and the Austin group was talking. There was a kid, I was outside, I didn't get in. There was a kid walking on the steps, you know, and it's pretty high up, you know, so that first aid tent was at the bottom. So I was at the top of the steps, and man, this kid fell off of that shit, man.
Oh, at the city hall? He fell off the wall of the city hall? Oh,
so,
shit.
you know, the kids were running around. So, you know, I mean, I don't know who's legally responsible for that. You know, maybe nobody, I don't know. But you got to make sure that, like, hey, man, you
We're
got
all
to
responsible for it, though.
for that, yeah. Like we got to make sure we take care of that stuff so that shit like that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So anyway,
But this is
lessons
actually
learned and pay attention to things that happen and mistakes that people made and try to address that stuff.
Yeah,
in
and
your
this raises a good point that we've been talking about a lot lately because there's just been so much happening and new groups coming in. A lot of the protesters, I think this is like their first time that they've ever protested over these last few months.
Yeah.
But there are things that, you know, are important to think about when you're going into a protest. Like we said, we had cars in the back of our march, and we had armed people at the back of the march in case there were people that tried to come through it. But we also had legal observers, so I'd encourage anybody, if they're doing having a protest, to get a hold of the National Lawyers Guild and just send them an email, say we're doing a protest, so that they have legal observers. I mean, legal observers aren't magic; they can't prevent things, but they can be very helpful. And actually, so Sam was one in Pueblo, and she was talking about how the cops were basically deferring to her. They're all, I don't know, what should we do? You're the expert here.
She came over and whispered. She was like, you know, it's kind of cool when I could just tell cops. And like, she said something and like, boom, they knocked that shit out. You know,
and that's like Pueblo. Like, I don't think Pueblo especially wasn't prepared for that shit.
Nah,
like,
man.
Colorado Springs, they
shit.
know that there are legal observers and shit, but legal observers, actual trained medics, like, you don't just get to slap on a red cross on your chest and say that you're a medic if you have absolutely no idea what you're doing.
How to treat a gunshot
like
wound.
basic. I think we've talked about people doing like a quick street medic training. Which street medic is not like, you're not an EMT or anything like this, but it's just basic triage things. Dealing with tear gas in your eyes or pepper spray, or dehydration, or if you get,
Right.
if you fall off the wall at City Hall, I guess,
man,
you know.
yeah, man.
I mean, I don't know how to prevent stupidity, but
Yeah, that was bad, man. I was like,
shit.
God, I can't believe you let your kid run on that thing right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nuts, man.
Oh,
But
it was a little kid?
It was a kid, man.
Oh,
yeah, like
I
a baby.
thought it was like a grown up. Oh,
No,
damn.
no. He was like
Holy
six, like
shit.
maybe like 8 or 9. You know, he was like not a baby, but you know, he's a kid though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, man. So yeah, the ambulance came and got him and stuff. Yeah, it was scary. But yeah, man. You know, you got to think these things through, and you not just think it through, like have
Carry
a
it
plan
out.
for it. And
Yeah.
then if you can't get that shit planned out, sometimes you just gotta hold up on the action. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just go out there and say, "Oh, let's just wing it." Like you absolutely cannot do that shit.
Especially
have to-
in today's day and age. I have to
right
say.
now, yeah. Like you know, like last year when we started this stuff, I have a feeling like even CSPD was kind of like, wait, hold on, what is this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
you know, like hold on, let's just put 30 cops there and try to scare them. But now it's like kind of
Yeah.
more organized things from them happening.
Yeah, the haphazard riot squad that came out. And,
Yeah, yeah, man, it was kind of ridiculous the things that they were doing. But so anyway, we got to grow with that, and we just got to make sure that we're not like fucking shooting each other, man. That's dumb as fuck. That's the dumbest shit.
But we do
man.
want to make sure we're taking care of each other too. So like,
Yeah. Like you know, like the dudes that was up on the roof with they
Yeah.
were with the sniper rifles. You know what I'm saying? Like we had guns to go up there and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, because they're gonna bring their guns to us. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely gonna threaten us with guns. So you know what I mean? It's a catch-22 in some of these situations. But you just need to have a good hold on it and a good feel for it, man. And just make sure that when you're out there, that you're not too into the moment. That you got somebody that's watching what's going on.
Yeah, you want
know
to
what I'm saying?
make sure that there are people that are sort of like
The eyes.
in the role of being in charge of keeping an eye on
Paying
things or
attention
whatever.
and
Because like
recording.
you know when you're up talking or whatever, you're not really like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a guy out in the crowd. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah, you're
So
not
like
watching that
you just want to make sure that you're thinking through all those roles and make because like shit's gotten pretty real lately. I mean, people are getting killed, they're getting run over, they're getting shot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah, it's like you can, you know, do you take your kid? Do you show them this
Yeah,
shit?
yeah.
Like I don't know, man. You know, you got to judge it. Some things I think it's good. Like you definitely can, but other things you got to be careful with that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
man.
totally.
And when you're talking about this ICE stuff and you know going like going to the courthouse and things like that, I don't know. I don't know, man. It might just be something better to find out on a live feed for your kids or whatever. For me, anyway. You know what I'm
totally,
saying?
totally. Yeah, I don't bring my kids to a lot of protests nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. Anything else we wanted to add besides to come check out the spot?
Yeah, the spot,
You
man.
can come look in the windows.
Yeah, well, hell, definitely come look in the windows and bring some Windex. Don't leave no fucking fingerprints on my shit, man.
Sons of bitches. Actually, I want to just make an invitation too. When we get this thing open, I invite all of our viewers to come down, check it out, and help us build the space because
Yeah.
that's what's going to make the space most successful. Is when we're all in there and we have complete buy-in. We want to do some cool ass murals on the walls, and
Yeah,
the floor needs a little bit of work on it, so we
Needs some
might need
work.
volunteers to come help with that and like.
drywall and just paint and all of that, man. The ceilings and the light fixtures, it's all the shit got to get fixed.
Now we're making it sound really bad. It's not that
Yeah,
bad.
you know, just it's got to be.
could
You know,
look
when you
nicer.
move into a spot, you got to make it your home.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
And we want you guys all
Hey,
to help us.
Jessica,
make it
what was her name again?
Katie Orr.
Katie Orr. Thank you so much for your art.
Thank you, Katie Orr.
Man, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's dope, man. I like that. Hopefully, she can make some stuff for the Chinoook Center, man.
And we can make
appreciate
some
it.
puppets in the Chinoook Center.
Make some puppets in the Chinoook Center, yo. Hell yeah. We appreciate y'all, man. Is that it, man?
Yeah, I guess so. All
All
right.
right. Hey, come holler at us, man. We love y'all.
Peace.
Yo.